Now that you're over 60, there's something you must hear. The people in your life matter more than ever. But some of them, they're draining your spirit, hurting your health, or quietly sabotaging your peace. And you might not even realize it yet. I'm going to walk you through 12 people you must cut from your life as an older woman, even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it hurts. This video might sting a little, but it's exactly what you need to hear to protect your peace and thrive in this chapter of life. So stay with me until the end. And if you're brave enough, drop a comment below telling me who you think needs to go. And don't forget to like and subscribe if this hits home, all right? Let's begin. 1. The subtle underminer. You know her. She smiles sweetly and says the right things, but something about it always makes you feel smaller. It's the woman who compliments your outfit, but adds, "Oh, I could never wear that at our age." Or she tells you how brave you are to go out alone, as if you're helpless. These people don't insult you directly. They chip away at you slowly, like a leak in the ceiling you don't notice until there's a puddle on the floor. And the worst part, you've probably been friends for years. You've excused it by saying, "That's just how she is." But darling, that doesn't make it right. After 60, your time and confidence are too valuable to spend them defending yourself against low blows wrapped in politeness. You don't need to announce a breakup. Just stop making space for someone who only lifts you up when it suits her ego. 2. The chronic complainer. This one can sneak up on you. She's a neighbor, a cousin, or even a longtime friend. Every time you speak, it's a fresh list of problems. The doctor messed something up, her kids are ungrateful, her cat threw up again, and the weather is always to blame for something. Now, let's be clear, venting is normal. We all do it. But when every conversation is a storm cloud, it starts to affect you. You walk away from the call or visit feeling heavy, irritated, and oddly guilty for feeling okay about your own life. That's emotional pollution. What's worse is that complainers don't usually want solutions. They want attention. They thrive in the spotlight of misery, and if you keep standing there with them, you'll start to feel like life is worse than it is. If a relationship becomes an endless complaint session, it's time to politely step back. Guard your joy like a treasure, because it is. 3. The financial freeloader. This one is tricky because they often use guilt or charm to get what they want. It might be a grown child, a younger friend, or even an old partner. They're always just a little short or in a tough spot, and somehow it's always you footing the bill. You've been generous, and that's a beautiful thing. But generosity turns into exploitation when it becomes expected. And they might not even ask outright. Sometimes it's sighs and dramatic hints, like, "I just don't know how I'm going to afford groceries this week," while looking at you. Or they frame it like an emergency. "I promise I'll pay you back next month," but next month becomes next year or never. Let me tell you something hard. You are not a walking ATM. Your money is part of your legacy. You should be using it for your health, your joy, your future, not subsidizing someone else's refusal to take responsibility. If someone in your life repeatedly treats your finances like their backup plan, it's time to close the bank. You don't owe anyone your retirement fund. 4. The ghost till they need you friend. She disappears when things are going well for her, but the moment life gets messy, she's knocking on your door or flooding your phone with messages. "I just need someone to talk to." You're the only one who gets it. But when you're going through something, silence. These people aren't really friends. They're users in friends' clothing. They know you're the kind-hearted, steady one, the one who listens, comforts, and shows up. But they don't reciprocate. They remember you when it's convenient, not because they truly care. I know it can be hard to cut someone like this off, especially when you've shared years or even decades of memories. But relationships must be mutual. Your support shouldn't be a one-way street. You deserve people who show up for you, not just lean on you like a crutch and vanish when they can walk again. Stop answering the call if it only rings when they're down. 5. The drama magnet. Oh, this one's exhausting. There's always something going on. She's fighting with her kids. Her boss is evil. Her friends betrayed her. Her neighbor's a thief. She can't even go to the supermarket without some kind of conflict. And somehow, she always wants to drag you into it. You become her sounding board, her therapist, her audience. And before long, you start absorbing her chaos. It might not even be your stress, but your body doesn't know the difference. It just feels the tension. Drama magnets are addicted to attention and conflict. They stir things up because peace feels too boring to them. But you've earned your peace. You've survived your own storms. You don't need to take on someone else's thundercloud. Let her run her own soap opera. You don't need to be in the cast anymore. 6. The ageist masked as helpful. These people often think they're being kind. They offer to carry things for you. They tell you to take it easy. They insist that you shouldn't go hiking or travel solo or wear bright lipstick or dye your hair purple. At your age, they say, you should be more careful. Or worse, more dignified. It sounds well-meaning. But let's be honest, it's ageism in disguise. They don't see you as fully capable. They see a stereotype, a fragile, quiet little old lady. And if you're not careful, you might start seeing yourself that way too. Let me remind you of something. You decide who you are, not society, not someone else's fear of aging. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, but you sure as heck don't need to shrink yourself to fit someone else's comfort zone. If someone is constantly underestimating you and using concern to limit your freedom, it's time to have a firm conversation or walk away. 7. The competitive relative. We all know this one. It might be your sister, cousin, sister-in-law, or even your daughter. Every conversation feels like a silent competition. Who's aging better? Whose grandkids are more successful? Who's got the better house, husband, or hip replacement? You mentioned taking a trip, and she immediately chimes in with how she went somewhere more exotic. You share a health scare, and suddenly she had it worse. It's not a conversation, it's a scoreboard. And let me be clear, this type of dynamic doesn't always come from malice. Sometimes it's insecurity. Sometimes it's lifelong sibling rivalry. But whatever the reason, it's toxic. And it's not your job to fix it. You're not in a race. You're in your own lane, living your own life, and your joy doesn't need to be measured against anyone else's. Set boundaries with people who turn family into a contest. And if they can't respect your peace, it's okay to step back, no matter how close the bloodline is. 8. The negative spouse or partner. This one hits deep, because for many women, especially over 60, you've spent decades with someone. Maybe you've built a life together. Maybe you've shared beautiful memories. But here's the hard truth. If that person constantly puts you down, drains your spirit, or makes you feel small, love alone is not enough to stay. Maybe he mocks your interests, or controls the money. Maybe he criticizes how you look, or how you spend your time. Maybe he dismisses your health concerns, or jokes about you slowing down. That's not love, that's emotional erosion. And listen, I'm not saying leave your marriage over one bad week. But if your partner has become a weight instead of a wing, it's time to speak up. You can seek counseling. You can reclaim your boundaries. And yes, if things don't change, you can leave. Because after 60, your life is precious. You don't owe your remaining years to someone who doesn't value you. You owe them to yourself. 9. The energy vampire. These folks don't even need to say much. You just feel it. You meet up for lunch. And within 20 minutes, your body is tired. Your head hurts. Your spirit feels flattened. And yet, they didn't scream or insult you. They just drained you. Maybe they sigh a lot. Maybe they never smile. Maybe they sit there waiting for you to do all the emotional lifting in the conversation. Or maybe they subtly dump all their baggage on you, but never ask how you're doing. These people don't recharge you. They deplete you. And as we age, energy becomes more precious than gold. You need people who fill your cup, not sip from it with a straw when you're not looking. Start paying attention to how you feel after being around someone. If you walk away lighter, keep them. If you walk away heavier every time, let them go. 10. The one who refuses to change. We all have someone like this in our life. They still speak like it's 1974. Their views haven't evolved 1 inch. They say things that are offensive, ignorant, or downright harmful, and then laugh it off with, "I'm just old school," or, "You know how I am." Whether it's racism, sexism, homophobia, or just an inability to accept anyone different from themselves, they expect you to nod and smile because you've known them forever. But staying silent makes you complicit, and tolerating ignorance out of nostalgia is not kindness, it's avoidance. You don't have to engage in a screaming match, but you do have every right to say, "That's not okay," and walk away. Growth doesn't have an age limit, but if someone refuses to grow, you don't have to stay planted beside them. 11. The gossip dealer. This person always knows something. Who got divorced, who gained weight, who's in trouble with their adult kids. It's like they run a one-woman tabloid out of their mouth, and you're the unwilling subscriber. She might make it sound like she's just filling you in or being concerned, but make no mistake, it's gossip. And if she's talking to you about someone else, she's definitely talking about you to others when you're not around. Gossip is poison in a friendship. It creates mistrust, fuels anxiety, and damages reputations. And as women over 60, we've lived too much life to entertain childish behavior like that. You don't have to confront her. You just have to stop participating. Change the subject. Don't react. And eventually, she'll move on to someone who feeds the fire. You're not here to be anyone's gossip bin. 12. The well-meaning control freak. This one often shows up as a daughter, niece, or even a friend. She thinks she's just trying to help, but what she's really doing is micromanaging your life. She wants to tell you what to eat, where to live, what not to wear, which activities are safe, and who you should or shouldn't trust. It can sound like care. "I worry about you living alone. You shouldn't go out in that weather. I don't think that friend is good for you." But deep down, what she's doing is stripping your autonomy. You are still an adult, a full-grown, intelligent, vibrant woman with her own opinions. And yes, you may need help sometimes, but that help should feel empowering, not suffocating. It's okay to set boundaries. You can say, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm still capable of making my own decisions." And if that person can't respect that, then you may need space, not because you don't love them, but because you love yourself enough to choose freedom.